Itchy little helper in here. Of course, I'm talking about Baby Groot.
Ladies and gentlemen, until he learned his lesson, there's nothing little about me. I'm
Well,
like
at
a
least you learned your lesson. You know, you're not to
no,
come on
it
my show
ain't
without
no
the
lesson
camera on.
learned. I'm like a big African grizzly bear. And yes, I look scary out when I walk out in the street, so there's nothing little about me. If I was little,
Scary my ass. You ask me.
no, here's the funny thing: if I was little, you become an easy target from where I live. Point proven. So I'm not little. The bad part about people think I'm always angry.
Yeah, I would say angry.
So what would I
More
say?
like a Jigglypuff.
I don't smile. Why would I walk around Brooklyn, New York, with a smile on my face, so I can draw unwanted attention? No. Plus, when you walk the street of Brooklyn, New York, and you look kind of intimidating, who wants to bug you?
A lot of
A
people
few
actually.
years ago, I had to chase a madman down the street because he pissed me the hell off. And I was itching to body slam somebody. That's
David,
my
you're getting so
issue.
in trouble
When I
these
lose
days.
it, all I want to see is how many times you bounce off the concrete ground. So what's little about me? Nothing. Every time my hand was big and annoying because I was working on my laptop and I was getting frustrated because like I don't have delicate fingers.
Well,
You
one thing I
really,
agree on that. You definitely don't have delicate fingers.
and that's the problem. When you're working on a laptop, everything you have to be very careful. And you know how annoying it is when you have to every small minute thing. It gets
Bro,
frustrating.
honestly, when I got my PS5 and I updated the memory, when you first got it, you had to get external memory.
Yeah,
And even my little tiny hands, I had a hard time getting that shit in there.
I have to take out the system board, replace the hard drive, put everything back, and I
Mhm.
gotta be careful I put it in the right order. So I got
Yeah,
almost everything working except for one of the hard drive connection. And I was like, not again. I gotta go right back again, remove everything. You know how annoying that is? I was
very.
frustrated. Took me about 2 days
So
to work on this laptop.
before we get into the show, I have some news actually. I want to share with everybody. It's only a rumor right now, but I am gonna use it as breaking news. You're familiar with Call of Duty, right?
Hmm?
You're familiar with this series Call of Duty, right, David?
Yeah, what about it?
There is talks. This is only talks right now. Pameral. I can't pronounce the fucking word. The Pameral Studio company that made Top Gun.
Mm-hmm.
They're in talks with the studio that could develop Call of Duty to buy the rights to make a Call of Duty movie. They can go two different ways. So they can go a couple different ways here. So I'll explain why. If they actually follow one storyline, like say Modern Warfare, I think it'll be a great storyline. Modern Warfare to do in the movie. Um, I'm not talking about the original story, Modern Warfare. I'm talking about the newer one because that'd be more up to date. They can do good. Even Black Ops. If they go with Black Ops, I think there'd be a good storyline too. But if they do something else, let's say, hey Mariana, what's going on? Let's say they do their own storyline, that might flop. What's your opinion on that so far, David?
Well, first and foremost, I have an issue. Let me tell you why. They look back of all the past movie adaptations that are based on video games. Did they do well with it?
It's
And
kind of
you're,
hit and miss now as days.
I know, but there's the problem. Call of Duty is no small franchise, first and foremost.
No, it's a huge franchise.
That's one part. Second of all, to get the right to make the movie, and anyone who have been a big time fan playing Call of Duty and the multiple version of Call of Duty, there's a lot of questions you gotta ask yourself. I know you're pointing to yourself, but here's the problem with it. What storyline are you gonna pick? The old school storyline like World War One, World War Two, when they again was first based on before went to
I
Modern
think
Warfare?
they'd
No.
be shooting
But
themselves in the foot if they do that. Because hang on, before we move on, Wally, what is
yeah.
going on, my man? How are you tonight?
Okay, he might be working on his audios.
No, my audio's fine. I just asking myself what I'm seeing on the screen, but I didn't see this happening when I came through. Okay.
Yeah,
What's
no,
the what's the breaking news?
yeah. So before we get into it, there's it's not a rumor, is they're in discussions right now. Call of Duty Studio, I can't remember the name of the studio off my head right now. And Paramount is trying to buy the rights to make a Call of Duty movie right now.
Huh?
I'm sorry.
Huh?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's what I said too. But this can go two different ways. It's a couple of ways, like I said originally. If they go with no, three different ways, David. The- yes, hear me out. If they go, you think five? Okay, I'll give you five. From my personal opinion, if they pick Modern Warfare, the newer version, they can be a good movie, or even Black Ops. Now, if they write their own script, yeah. But like David mentioned, they can do World War II. But World War II movies are kind of done to death at this point. Like
And here,
every few weeks, we have a new World War III movie coming out.
and here the problem. There's a zombie
That's what you
mode.
call
Call it
recycling product of goodness of paper.
Yeah, and
So here's
Mariana
the
has a
thing.
great point here. Is if they do that, Karen Reese should have a starring role in Call of Duty, and the characters. No. A reason I say she has a good point is because it depends who your actors are that can fit those roles correctly. Like if you pick, I'm trying to think of a role that wasn't bad. Um, it wasn't a bad role for him, but The Rock played as um, Hercules. He grew his beard.
whoa. You want to mention The Rock of all people?
I'm using an example, dude. I'm just using an example.
And let me give you an example.
Go
Doom,
ahead.
based on a video game. What he did to that movie?
Oh, he trashed it. Completely trash.
G.I. Joe, based on a toy. What he do to that one?
That was a 50-50 hit.
Okay, so shall I go on now?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not
Okay.
saying The Rock should play in that
Okay.
movie. I'm
I
not
know,
saying that, David.
I'm just saying.
I'm saying if you put the right actors in that roles, who's going to play Price and so on, yeah, it could be a good movie if you get the right script and the right actors in it.
So
There's a lot of things. What do we got on this? Go ahead.
let me add this in here just for stupidity. You're trying to tell, yeah, seriously, I'm gonna sit here and say this. Let me add this for stupidity. So Call of Duty really had a storyline that was based upon what exactly?
Which one?
My point exactly.
Thank you. Because my thing is, I didn't even know is that even a real story? That's a video game story.
And they got a zombie mode on top of that. So how you gonna play with that one?
Well, I ran out caring about that, but so is that a video game story? Or are we basing this on real life?
That's a good question. That is a very good question.
And you
Which one?
want to talk about the Modern Warfare franchise of it? They went a little too far whereby you're doing type of cipher cell combat mode where you're dealing with people who are special forces or above special forces, like Delta Force kind of people. You're doing on top of to pour a game like that into a movie fundamental is, I hate to say it's complicated. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, if you listen to this show right now, if you hear about this Call of Duty movie, Van Diesel might fit it. Yes, maybe.
I mean, let's be honest here.
Might.
But I'm gonna be like, at this point though, video games movie are now the new rage. The only thing is, video games, as far as television, is mostly been through television, not through movies. But even then, I honestly, let's be honest, who really wants to watch?
Where's Mandrell when you need him for this type of conversation? Where's Mandrell? He will have a better understanding about what we are talking about. Like Mandrell, what?
I'm not denying anything you guys saying. This is a talk. We're just having a conversation because obviously we cannot.
I'm not beating you up, but it's me and Wally understand the concept. It's kind of like, what angle are you going with it? Because Call of Duty, don't get me wrong,
like
one of the biggest franchises.
The video games to television cycle, they're going through that. But I just find it interesting. It's like, okay, so it's either we're gonna do Call of Duty. What's next? We're gonna do Battlefield next too, and then from there we'll do Killzone.
Oh God. Now, Wally, now you you go a little deeper. Leave out Battlefield. Okay, it don't make no sense doing that.
Yeah. So Eric, this is our new time because my work schedule changed. So on
I'm gonna have to check
Tuesdays,
my time schedule.
Saturdays, and Sundays, we'll be starting at 8:30 from now on. My
Okay,
schedule
8:30
goes
on the
back to my normal
laptop.
schedule. I'm sorry, Wally?
And,
No, but I
and
said
get
I
the
need to
laptop that's
remember
stressing me out all day
new
today.
the new schedule because I was like, what time is everything started again?
Yeah, it's only 3 days a week. We moved it up an hour because of my work schedule.
Sunday, Tuesday,
Yeah.
and Saturday.
But
Yeah.
I think we should start having more video game conversation more because this right here, this topic is it kind of like mixed review. Call of Duty. This is one of the biggest gaming franchise up to date right now. It's not going nowhere no time soon. And you
It
think we'll
really
make a
depends, really,
movie?
bro. Because if like okay, so I seen this happen before, year and year after. So when Call of Duty goes against Battlefield, wait a minute, before you say anything, everybody goes fuck Call of Duty, Duty is whack, whatever, right? Then the hype drops down. Everybody goes back to Call of Duty. It happens every time a Battlefield comes out. Because Battlefield Online is extremely hard. It's not Call of Duty. You get like 10 shots before you kill somebody. You get one shot and that's it.
Here's the problem with Battlefield and Call of Duty. Call of Duty is more like a confined war zone. Battlefield is so expensive. Here the power the hype doesn't die down. It's just that certain people who play the game feel more relatable to Battlefield than Call of Duty. What I found out, but I'm his subscriber, one of these gamer is actually a retired sniper from the military who's heavy on Call of Duty, and he have a YouTube channel where he mock all the people that go in the game and he snipe them from a very long distance, and they don't see it coming. I'm like, I'm glad I don't play the game because I don't want to get sniped by him either. Cause you know how embarrassed that is? You don't see the person who's sniping you, and he looking at you guys just running around. Look at these kids, and he's laughing.
Well, my thing
Oh,
is,
thank you.
well, from a video game perspective, as far as Battlefield versus Call of Duty, I mean, I was definitely one of those people that switched over to Battlefield. I don't know what it is, but Battlefield for me, it was just way more better for me. I just like it overall. Now, as far as online, I'll give it a Call of Duty online. But the thing is with Battlefield, and I think Call of Duty, either which way, I just think that Battlefield doesn't place the same conceptual rules as far as picking the map and then battling on that particular map, give or take, as far as I can remember. But yeah, I think that's the only small difference. I mean, if they made those maps and made those terrains and made them actually good enough to fight through, then maybe Battlefield would have a chance in that online cycle. But either which way, yeah. But I think also too, you gotta think about it. With Battlefield, most of their guns, you literally have a grenade launcher launch right into that bad boy, and you just fire and bust down walls. And that's the beauty of Battlefield right there for me. I love that shit. I love it. Because being able to blast some walls down and just be able to see your opponent is a beautiful thing. But I think that's just part of the easy part of the chaos, right? It's like with Call of Duty, you can do the same thing, but the thing is, you don't blow down walls. The walls are still there intact. So,
Well, I will say one thing about Call of Duty, at least. I think Call of Duty, I'm sorry, Battlefield, I meant, has a better storyline at times. Not always, sometimes.
I'd say like the visuals of the stories I like better because I remember which one was it? Was it the second one that they came out with back then that I played on second or third that I played with? Because I know they had that terrain in the snow ice.
Battlefield 3,
yeah.
I believe.
Yeah. Because you literally had to go house to house, literally beat down, and then you have to be tucked in the house to be able to recover from the snow because you can literally die while being out there too long.
Correct.
That was very convincing.
Let's not forget, you're riding a tank in Battlefield. You're riding a helicopter in the Battlefield. You're riding a Jeep in the Battlefield. It's more expensive than playing Call of Duty. So let's keep it real. That game is far more realistic than Call of Duty. A lot of people who from the military who like to play war game, they cater to Battlefield more than they cater to Call of Duty. And God forbid it's an open field and somebody's hiding in the bushes sniping you from a day. You can't see them when they shoot. I used to I used to play the sniper mode. I understand how that feels. It's enjoyable, but I hate to be at the end of it. You're running and he's seeing you from a distance. He just laughing. Watch, I'm waiting for him to go right over here. Then
And that's another thing. I just honestly too. Have you ever just feel when you actually start busting the guns of Call of Duty and Battlefield, it feels sort of different on Battlefield. It feels like more surreal. That's how I feel
Yeah.
for me.
Battlefield was always meant to be more realistic than Call of Duty. Same thing with Medal of Honor, I believe, was it? That had a good
so
solid.
you mean the Battlefield Medal of Honor version? It looked more realistic because you're dealing with realistic weapon. I was talking
Yeah.
in wartime, but remember, Call of Duty have too many different modes. So when you want to throw that into a movie content, it becomes confusing because everybody will be thinking, what version of Call of Duty are you going to use? So it might be like a breaking news, but it's a confusing news because in the gaming, I can't call it gaming arena, in the gaming community, we all will start asking questions like, would that make any sense? And God forbid you choose Battlefield. Battlefield, leave it alone. Leave it at the game, but make it at the movie, then you can hurt or help the product.
Well, I'm
Let's be
telling you right
real.
now, if they did Battlefield, I think Battlefield would more likely have to. I mean, for me, I think Battlefield would more likely have to be a TV series. I mean, I don't want to do it as a TV series because that would just be unpredictable. But even then, it's like just knowing the storyline and everything else in it, it looks like it has to be on a TV series. But then I would have to say the same thing for Call of Duty because that is a whole lot of stuff, anyways. But yeah, nonetheless, it's not favored, at least in my mind.
I'm sorry, I'm in the same way with him because Call of Duty Battlefield did a first-person shooting game that is all about taking advantage of the map, and you want to make it a movie. I don't know because here when I look at it, you make Call of Duty a movie, next will be Battlefield. After that will be Apex Legend. After that will be Overwatch. Like you're taking all kind of first person shooting game, want to make it a movie. Like why?
See, I don't think Apex would be a good movie or any of the other ones.
Apex Legend?
Yeah.
Uh,
You think so?
I mean, to
the
be honest
problem.
with you, Apex Legend is more of a more animated, so I think that would actually do better just because it's animation in a sense. So I think that would do better just because of that. The only thing about it with Apex, because again, I have never played Apex Legends, so I don't know if there's a story behind that overall. But if there is, then it's like, well, I think that could sell better because it's animation. But if
And
not, then it's like, well, yeah, exactly. I just don't know.
and the level of the popular Apex Legend is going up. But this is part of the e-game competition arena, same thing with Call of Duty and Battlefield. Of all
Mm-hmm.
the shooting games, Apex Legends is top there, almost close to Overwatch.
But one thing, real quick, the only thing I'm gonna really sit here and say is because I don't know, right? I'm not gonna really sit here and say yay and nay or all this, everything else intertwined. What I will sit here and say is, is it a movie adaptation? Is it a game? Sorry, is it a gaming movie adaptation? Because if it is a game movie adaptation, then you already know it's changing. Anything that you originally know, any story that they sold you, is gonna change. It's just gonna be changed or altered in one way or another. If it's strictly from the movie, if it's strictly from the game itself, like most other gaming shows that they do have out there right now, then it may not be as bad as most people would think. After that is really just more so of just picking the right character for those to act into it. So it depends on how they present it. So
And again, like David, Eric has his own opinion. He would love to see obviously him a Half Life, but I'm really off. topic here. And one thing I want to say really fast, and we're moving to right into our original topic, is the one game I can see doing very well as a movie. You might disagree, David. Is Metal Gear Solid.
You know what? I'm not against that actually.
For once, we agree on something, Wally.
For only
I'm
one
not
reason.
against that. I'm not against that either. But
Let me tell you why
only
I'm not against it.
one condition.
Okay, go ahead. What is that?
I'm sure Wally will agree with me. If you're going to do a Metal Gear Solid, need to have the creator of Metal Gear Solid to put his input how the movie should be done. Hands down. Nobody else but him. The brainchild behind it had to have created right over it. If not, you're going to screw it up.
Yeah, this is where, as much as I would initially agree with David, I'm sadly not going to agree with David on this one.
Why?
Well, wait a minute. For one reason only, because again, you got to understand, this is gaming to movies. We do not know if this is going to be a pure storyline of the gaming or an adaptation. So if it's an adaptation, again, I can't care less. But the reason why I say that it's actually an okay game to do a movie on is because here's one thing: Metal Gear Solid is an assassination movie. It's an assassination game. You don't got to focus on one main character and then the other big pieces of the other people that you got in the storyline.
Whoa. Are we having a debate here right now, Wally? Like,
What are you talking
okay, Metal Gear Solid is an okay game? Really?
about? Did I say it was an okay? No. I didn't. What are you talking about?
He never said that.
Oh, okay. Because here's the
He
thing.
never said Metal
I
Gear was
played
an
Metal Gear
okay
Solid
game
1.
or anything
I
like
played
that. He said
Metal Gear
it
Solid
depends.
2.
You
I
know,
could not beat 3, and I'm mad about it.
how can you be 3?
Here's the problem. Metal Gear Solid 3, it was supposed to be 1 in the first place. But that's
Oh, a prequel. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah,
and
that threw me off.
This got re-released.
Well, that's what's called storytelling, David. You gotta mix it around a little bit. That's the
I
beauty
know,
of it all.
but the control was throwing me off, which I'm mad about. I'm a gamer, and I hold myself to that. But the thing about Metal Gear Solid, it had a very unique storyline that you cannot deny. If you were to put it into a movie, I hate to say that, how many Metal Gear Solid are out there? About 4 or 5 of them?
I'll tell you 1 second. I'm actually looking up right now.
Yeah, but that's my thing. Like, because of that alone, if you actually look around the block, again, when you think about it, you got one main important character, then you got his rivals. You got one person trying to go in for an assassination movie. I mean, let's be honest. What 007 was a perfect example of this, right? Got one guy, one main character going out, beating the daylights, shooting them down, everything. You got one guy doing the same thing.
Yeah, but this is not no straightforward one main character, because that main character is almost not the main character. Because the main character you're referring to, he didn't know that he was actually a clone of the original character.
The only game that I played.
Again, that's the beauty of the story, which again, this is why I'm saying this would actually work just because of the nature of the movie.
And that's what I'm saying. It can work, but it has to be done properly. It's not only one man. There's so many great characters in the game from the first original one alone.
If you do it with Metal Gear Solid, the first one from PlayStation 1, you'd be fine. But the only one I played that I thought was horrible, and he was kind of forced to make this, and this is where he stepped away from the company finally, is Phantom Pain, the 5th one. To me, that was trash. That wasn't even a Call of Duty game.
It was made crap because there was, I want to say this, bumping up head on the direction of it. And then they didn't want to allow him to do what he do until that last one became crap. Without
in other words, like he didn't even want to make that game. He finished. He said after the 4th one, no, only the 3rd one. I'm sorry, Metal Gear 3.
After the 4th one,
technically that was the 3rd one because the 4th one you're talking about, it was a prequel. So you got
the 3rd one was the 3rd was a prequel, and there was the 4th one after that.
Yeah, but it's called Metal Gear 3. Yeah, I'm looking at the list right now, David.
Metal Gear 3 was the prequel, and there was a Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, because I am looking at it right now.
Yeah, I'll look for it too.
Actually, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right.
See?
Yeah, for once, you're right. I'll give you that one for once. So after the fourth one, he was done. He was burned out. He'd been doing this for a long time. He wanted to take it a different direction and do something else. So he was over with it. And the way
But the
they
problem
ended the
is the
fourth one,
owner of the company want to explode because Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, and 4 was nothing but pure diamond. They were making so much money off that.
Actually, let me refer to this. Actually, I don't want Metal Gear Solid to be a movie. I actually wanted it to be a TV series. Let me scratch that. Yep, wanted to be a TV series. Because when you think about the stories, it would be better on a TV series than it would be on a movie.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Because
so really fast, I want to finish this. I want to go address one comment. We get right into our original topic. After the fourth one, he was done. Then he came out with a Metal Gear Rising. That was trash too because he didn't even work on that one. Then he was forced to make the fifth one. He was like, "Listen, guys, I'm done." I'm like, you're still on the contract, my man. And like, you have to do it. So when his contract expired, he goes, "Deuces, I'm out." All right, guys, let's get into it. So our topic tonight. Oh, the comic first. Listen, Eric, I didn't lose my hell. Let's get that straight.
Can I just throw in one more quick topic? One more added topic to before we switch over.
Yeah, go ahead.
Another good one would be Splinter Cell. That would be another good condition.
They're actually making a series right now of it on Netflix.
Woo.
Netflix just announced a trailer of Splinter Cell coming out next year.
Really?
Yes.
Next
Go
year?
look it up.
Okay. I gotta see it.
Yeah.
That was a good one, Molly. That was a good one.
So, Eric, when a cook gets bored, when a chef gets bored, it's dangerous when a chef gets bored. Like I was about to go out for a few drinks and like I was bored and like I went, fuck it. And that what happened.
Wally, you know what happened? You and I almost joined the club and he didn't want to be left out, so he decided to join up with us.
Sorry, what happened now?
What happened?
Oh, nothing.
Peter was feeling left out because you and I cut our hair. So he want to be left out, so he decided to join the club.
I'm gonna sit here and say this very well and very sophisticated. I believe Peter is in a movie and he just covered his hair. That's really what it is right now. I truly believe that he's neither in a movie or in an ad that he's just covering his hair just because of that.
I hate you guys
not
both
even
right now.
worried about that.
All right, David, you go first.
Wolverine
versus the
You
Punisher.
wonder why I'll show enemy unlock it crazy. Ego off the bunker.
I hate you guys right now. Okay, David, your opening topic: Wolverine versus Punisher. What you got for me?
Wolverine versus Punisher. First and foremost, you need to know the history of both characters. Wolverine is an anomaly in the Marvel arena, which there are too many backstory of his origin. One in particular, either he part of an immortal clan because this guy lived longer than most of the people out there. That's one. Two, his ability and his history can be a little distorted. But he's almost like a hack. And when I'm saying that, look at Wolverine. Talk about a guy who was known as Weapon X, straight from Canada. They used him for a lot of experiments. They infused his whole bone structure with antimony. A metal that later on down the line, he found out it was killing him over a long period of time because of the poison of the metal itself was going against his healing factor. And I was thinking, as a nerd, if you're anyone who was a fan of Wolverine, you would think, so you think antimony, why not use the metal from Wakanda? Vibranium. Maybe that would have been better instead of antimonium. Because if you look in Marvel, those materials are both rival to one another. Antimonium is a rival to vibranium, but I don't know who to. I think vibranium is much stronger than antimonium. But when they did it for an experiment, they messed up his head bad. Imagine he got shot in the head with a antimonium bullet. But it didn't really destroy him. It just messed up his brain whereby his memory gets distorted. And several times Professor X was trying to help reconstruct his memory. He's like a jigsaw puzzle because we can unlock what he knows from the past.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna be the most dangerous person on the planet.
He's been on the earth for a very long time.
That's my point. So this is why it's kind of like a man who have been to so many different wars, World War One, World War Two. Who knows? It might be further than that. It's beyond battle.
According to Wolverine's origins, if you want to go based off that universe, he started Civil War and up, pretty much every war in the United States.
So now, according to Mandrell, that's the OG and the OG of all war. Manga. This guy know every tactic you can think of in war itself. Who want to fight with this dude one-on-one? Ain't me. You out of your goddamn.
Oh, I am. I got my mind.
I'll call T'Challa, Black Panther. Even Black Panther like, no, you don't want him on our land. He's very volatile. Hello. The Asgardian think he cuckoo.
All right, Wally, we got it.
Go ahead, Wally. I talk about Wolverine. I'm not talking about Punisher. So. That look.
So, first and foremost on my stance here, before we go overall into this argument, I love very much, first and foremost, I'd sit here and say this, Wife School, if you're out there, this is the time for you to pop right into the chat and start with the smoke, because I know you got the juggler for Wolverine. Look here, I'm on a tangent. I would be damned if you come around here and say some smoke shit. I would damn. So you may as well just pop out, bring your lovely self around and, come into the chat and just start this mess right now, because Lord have mercy. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Oh, my God. Okay, but no. Let me stop kidding. But if you do come, hit the link though. Hit the link. Bring your beautiful stuff on so I can argue with you down with this. Oh my God. But I just need some clarification of this battle between the two, right? Are we talking death or are we just talking about just being beaten? I need that clarifier.
That's a hard one because Castle kills, Wolverine X kills, so to the death.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So understand this. To make this, fair, we're gonna talk about both sides. Because let's be real, we just talked about to the death. This conversation is over. I may as well just fucking leave. I may as well just leave. So, in the grand theme of death, Wolverine's biting this man 10 times out of 10. It don't matter how long it takes. He's biting this man 10 times out of 10. Now you want to just talking about just getting beaten. Now, in fairness, it's been proven through the comics throughout years that Punisher can actually beat Wolverine. Keyword beat. But kill him? Oh no. That's a one-side battle. That is a one-side death battle. That's a one-side battle. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, to the death, I go Wolverine. Clean as a whistle. I'm talking about claws to the heart and claws to his lower jugglers.
Let me interject on this one because this is where we need to be decisive. Both of them served the military. Question is who was in the military longer than the other?
I would think Punisher.
So before we start butting heads and arguing, I have 2 videos explaining each power of each person that will break it down a little better for us. So I'm gonna play Punisher's first, and then I'll play Wolverine's right after that.
This Marvel character is more powerful than you think. Frank the Punisher Castle may not have any superpowers, but that doesn't stop him from taking on some of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe. His secret? Strategy and fighting dirty. Take his fight with Wolverine for example. Wolverine's indestructible skeleton and healing factor make him nearly out of plan. He shot him in the face and private parts with a shotgun, and then crushed him with a steamroller. As for the Hulk, Castle pretended to befriend Bruce Banner and
If
fed
you
him
want to say
plastic
claws,
explosives
those
without his
little
knowledge.
jugglers.
When Banner inevitably turned into the Hulk, Castle detonated the explosives inside his body, defeating him instantly. It's not about superpowers, it's about being smart and ruthless. And that's exactly why this Marvel character is more powerful.
People often think that Wolverine's greatest strength is his adamantium skeleton, but was it always like this? Today, we will tell you a truth that will leave you stunned. In a 1993 comic issue, Magneto removed all the adamantium from Wolverine's body. Imagine, a human being whose bones are made of metal suddenly becomes normal, but Wolverine did not lose courage. His healing factor was so powerful that the real bones grew back, and even then, without any metal, he stunned his enemies. People call him Bone Claw Wolverine, and this proves his real strength is not adamantium, but his passion, his willpower, and his beast-like instinct. So next time when someone says that Wolverine is made of metal, remind them, Wolverine was an animal even without metal. If you want more such facts, then like and write in the comment. People often think that Wolverine...
Let me speak on this
Hulk is
factor.
just a simple
I
animal.
remember that comic book edition because they mentioned that when they removed the metal, they didn't realize the metal was falling back his healing factor full potential. The guy was more than a
His overall
that's
potential.
number one. He was more than a beast. That's number one on the matter. Two, his real bone structure and his bone density was not even normal to begin with. That would make the guy scary. He was more like indestructible. If you can look at it that way, without the metal. The antimetal was more like poisoning him, but weakening his healing factor over a long period of time. Which is why I say I think vibranium would have been better for him than antimanium. That's number one aspect of things. Two, Otto Warsker, this guy has been in the military since, if you want to say the beginning of the United States, how we've been created, then the Civil War, then yes, he understands all the war tactics. But he's still a beast. Yeah, Frank Castle, former military guy, I get it. That video about playing dirty, really, you shoot the man at the balls of all places.
There's the reason why I said claws to the juggler. There's the reason why I said claws to the juggler.
Of all places, but here I will say it was the dumbest thing to do. Now, and me being petty, I'm worse than Wally when it comes to being petty. If I were Wolverine and Frank Castle blew up my private part, then that would just go bigger. So all I gotta do is do your girl dirty. So she'll forget your ass. How about that? Want to talk about being dirty? Wolverine can be dirty too, you know. Yeah, blow up my part. It will grow. It might get bigger. When I see your lady, I'll test it out on her. And you cannot get mad because you shot me down there. Pun intended. Yes. Frank Castle played dirty, but he had to. He ain't got no stupid ability. He had to think like what Batman would. No. Batman don't think dirty. He's more strategic about it. He know how to figure out your weakness and he'll exploit it. Frank Castle is more a dirty player. I get it. And how he defeat the Hulk. That's a definition you need to get a clarity on because to defeat the Hulk is not no simple task. That's number one.
Of course,
You
it's
put a
not.
bomb. You put a bomb in the chest and you blow him up, but you forget of his healing factor is far greater than Wolverine healing factor.
No, that's the difference. Defeat is temporary. That's the whole thing. That's why I asked the question. Are we talking about death or defeat? Because defeat,
I'm glad you.
he actually has a chance. But death, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, you do got a point on that one because you can't have a death battle. And the death battle not gonna look well because we have a channel called Death Battle. And they take our ideas. Please let us know. Give us a notification so we can see that and use that content and say why this person won, why this person lost. Because I can't say it's a fair matchup. Because they both got military experience, but one have a unique factor over the other one. One want to have a unique factor when it comes to a tactic. It's great. Yes, he got the tactic and everything. He can play that game, but for how long?
Yeah, but my thing is the only difference, right? Yes, they both got military experience, but I think one thing you got to remember too. I mean, you got to sit here and say who has more of the tactical military experience. That's really just Punisher because Wolverine doesn't really act on that at all. He was just a forcible weapon.
I agree
So
with you.
you got to think about it. And then his military training is more so of a special ops, in a sense, in this timeline. So you got to think about that as well. So he's more of a special ops teams and all that stuff. So he was just a hand for hire, quote unquote. So that's more of that.
If I'm not mistaken, Wolverine was never special forces.
Well, no, the reason why I'm saying special forces because he was a part of that, that team, what's that thing, Weapon X faction.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm saying special forces because he was working as a co-op. That's what I'm saying. He wasn't like under America per se. It was under organization. So that's what I'm saying. Like the things that he done through time, it was under an organization of Weapon X, and then all that stuff.
I agree on that.
So Wolverine is just a tool. He was a tool of mass destruction, not more of a military. So that's what I'm saying. Between this battle, yeah, if we're talking about technical versus versus straight up beatdown, it's like, yeah, that's why this fight actually takes longer.
But let's use this for example. Let's say we take his healing factor out of the equation completely for a minute. Who do you think has an upper edge?
Who do you think has an upper edge if we took the healing factor out?
Yeah.
I mean, from that point, it definitely goes. From that point, it definitely goes to Punisher at that point because again, now that's different because okay, if you're taking away the healing factor, now Punisher has way more utility because now he has long range distance. You're a sniper, you have guns, you have all these other tools. Wolverine has to get in close range, close quarters to actually do damage. That's the difference. So if you're taking away his healing factor, only takes a couple of bullets before you end Wolverine's life. Now, granted, depending on how the bone factor does, as far as how much density of damage that takes, and then as far as how does that overly mask over his body, that will be the difference maker of how long he survives, give or take. But other than that, that's pretty much it.
All right, I'll take that any day. Go ahead, David. You got a comment?
No, because how do I want to put it? When you say take out the healing factor, it was his healing factor that made him live long. Let's keep that real right there. So it is impossible just to remove. Because if you remove that, then talk about his lifespan is shorting out already as it is, then he won't last that long, over 100 of years. Maybe close to 1,000.
Yeah, but it doesn't also, but yeah, think about it, right? The healing factor is just making sure it just heals, right? It just restructures the body, the cellular, genes and all that. But my thing is, even then, because you got to think about now, it's not really to explain how his healing factor is per se, as far as how that healing factor affects his overall lifespan. But even if you were to take it at that moment, I don't think so that decays him to being some old grump or something like that overall. Like, I just think that's just puts his cellular level on a whole nother level than a typical human. So again, I just think even if you replace it, I'm not saying, oh yeah, that means he goes instant old. It's like, okay, you just take it out of there. Like it's a non-factor. Let's say like you did some type of spell and then boom, it just clamps it. It's there, but it's dormant. It's not being activated pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I get your point.
Yeah.
But that's a great factor too, because if he didn't have a healing factor, he wouldn't be over 1,000 years old. So it's so many different ways to take it now. But I have a little present for you guys. This video breaks it down even more.
When Punisher steamrolls Wolverine, Frank Castle, aka the Punisher, is hunting the notorious Wolverine through tunnels under Brooklyn. Leading into an abandoned warehouse, Wolverine ambushes the Punisher and slashes his arm, but not before leaving himself open for a fatal shotgun blast to the face, exposing his adamantium skull. Wolverine loses control and flies into berserker rage. The two continue swinging and slashing at one another. Punisher brings Wolverine to his knees. Frank needs to neutralize Logan and takes his Uzi and open fires at his genitalia, stating they'll grow back. While Logan crawls towards Castle, he thinks for a moment he won't be able to kill Wolverine and needs a new way to slow him down and get a chance to escape so Logan can't follow the scent for a couple of days. Punisher looks around the warehouse and sees a steamroller, starts it up and accelerates towards Wolverine, As Wolverine howls, Punisher drives it straight over Wolverine, parking it on his head. When Punisher steamrolls Wolverine, Frank Castle
I didn't realize that I was also part of the same video, so I apologize for that one.
Now that one is called pure dirty tactic. Pure dirty tactic. Punisher realized, okay, I can defeat the guy temporarily, but me doing what I did, Wolverine gonna be looking for me for the rest of my
Well,
life.
you know what I think
I
why
might well
Castle
just-
also has a little bit upper edge, to be honest with you guys.
Mhm.
Wolverine loses control very easily. He loses his temper. He goes in berserker mode.
I mean, just look at it from right there, like what I showed you earlier, right? Even from the first to the last to this video, pretty much, right? The moment Wolverine goes in for an attack, boom, shot you in the face. If you took the healing factor off, that's already dead. Like that's my whole point. If the healing factor's not there, yeah, Punisher becomes more lethal because long range. He has guns.
Even with the healing
I think
factor
about Wolverine.
included, Punisher, he's very calm and collected when he makes his moves. Versus,
Here's the issue with Wolverine. Because there's a part of the version of Wolverine that he was trained different. And he wasn't always. He was more stealthy. And the person who was training was telling Wolverine, sometimes your healing factor is your own until you heal. You don't know how to think properly in the battlefield. And Wolverine went under. There's a part in Wolverine history that he went to Japan, and he studied their art. And he became severely lethal to the point where he wasn't all rage. He was more stealthy because first and foremost, this guy had animalistic characters.
Is why he's
To
not
the point
stealthy.
whereby, no, it's not like it's not stealthy. There's certain animal in the animal kingdom that you have to be afraid of because you don't hear it nor see it.
I mean,
coming.
don't get me wrong, right? If a lion roars, most cases, any of the lion's food is gone, right? But a lion has to be quote unquote stealthy, patient, and quiet to actually be able to get his food, right? It's the same thing.
like a black panther or a leopard, whereby your footsteps are so quiet. Because there's many times everybody say that Wolverine is like a ninja. He's moving away that doesn't make no sense. Like how do you get to the metal detector without bringing up the metal detector? Answer that question. And no one see that coming. Wolverine is stealthy. It's just that.
in the movie with
He will
Wolverine,
have
if you
his-
remember, he went to back in Japan because his I can't remember. It's been a while since I watched. His master was dying, I think.
He's from a flame. He's from a flame. Was in trouble, and his master had a protege who wanted to marry his former flame, but he have a rivalry with Wolverine because he felt like Wolverine is not worthy of it. But his master told him right off the bat, "No, you could be way better than this. But you need to learn how to control. When you learn how to control that rage correctly and think before you react out of anger, you're the more dead." And it's true. If Wolverine is not in rage mode and thinking like a ninja, that is the worst version of Wolverine.
Yeah, but that's the thing about that is like anybody, like anyone with a quick sense of anger, usually be the ones that tend to lose their cool and lose their standpoint in all cases.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why a lot of people tend to do things offbeat. But when they're a little bit more surreal and a little bit more focused, now it's a whole different story. They're actually a little bit more lethal than usual because you actually can see them. That's across the board.
And that's why his sensei will beat that into him because his sensei keep telling him, you can't rely on your rage too goddamn much. You know how to fine tune and use that as a weapon. Whereby you're not always getting angry, but you're cool and collected. There's a time when Wolverine was completing his training, he was so deadly. His master was like, yes, Wolverine. Body, get it. And then a few times Wolverine said, yes. I know my sensei see me, he will whoop my ass. Meaning that all that training, and you go throw it out the window. After I don't waste my time training your dumb behind. Shoot, I don't want to get beat up on sensei either. If I got trained under somebody and I decide to say, F your training. Oh, F my training, eh? Okay. And me and Sparta know this very, very well. You don't tell your sensei F your training.
No, you see, I never told my instructor, my master, fuck his training. I called him old.
You an
Yeah, I
asshole.
know. I got my ass whooped for that too many times.
And he gave it to you, right? He
Yep.
gave it to you, didn't he?
He says, "Can he also mean? Oh, can an old man move this fucking fast?" I'm like, no.
But I'll even go this far. So let's switch it because we're talking about without healing factor. No guns, no weapons, just fists. Who do you think is winning?
Wolverine hand down.
With the martial art training, probably Wolverine.
Wolverine.
Because I don't want to get punked with that adamantium fists.
No, you take the animating out too. You can take that out. Again, no weapons, no nothing.
No.
He's saying mortal,
here's
like
the problem.
no extra abilities or hand-to-hand combat, normal.
Yeah. I still say Wolverine.
Here's the problem. Without the adamantium, his bone dent is even harder. And that's even scary. Let me punch you. I ain't trying to be rock and not remember my name.
But David, you're using powers again. No powers we're talking about.
No. Well, that's not powers. Animating is it's in his skin. It doesn't matter. It's not a power. It's just that. It's just that was in him. But my thing is either which way, animatium or just the bone, regardless, it's still there. You're still getting hit. You're still getting kicked. You don't have to use the actual powers. I'm just saying, actually, just put fist to fist. Granted, yes, the animatium's in his bone structure or the bone structure itself. So yeah, the fist is gonna definitely hurt way much more if he punch you, kick you, and everything else.
Yes.
So, which is why I sit there and say it's like.
And Wolverine really fast with a hand. He is lightning fast with a hand. So I ain't trying to get multiple punches from Wolverine. Wolverine start breaking all type of part. Like, and remember, he got trained one of the best masters in Japan. So imagine him using you for practice. You know that type of body shot coming from Wolverine punch you, and he controlling his rage, and he focuses on you. No, thank you.
Right. And then if you go to Eric's comment, he says, now it comes down to which version of the characters you are pairing up. If it's the MCU, just screw it. And that's the pretty much the summary of it all. Because it's like, again, you got to think about it, different timing of different characters within different verses of them will depend on everything else. Because if you're talking about like a Punisher, like we're talking about early World War I, World War II status version, then that's like way more heavy dense strategy overall than
you're right.
The current more MCU type version.
And Wolverine had too many versions of him because
he has the rich man.
He has
you
had the World War II. You had the Civil War version. You had the one when he came from Japan. He would act like a damn that ninja version.
He got that casino boss version. He got the dirty drunk version. You got when he was by himself with the motorcycle. I forgot what version that was.
Then you had the ultimate sip. You had the ultimate sip version of Wolverine.
Oh, my favorite one, the very short Wolverine.
Okay, yeah, make fun of his height and he teaches us.
Yeah, but yeah, there's definitely like different versions for sure. But each version comes with each different quality. So it's like that's what I'm saying. Like just looking at it as an overall, it's like we're just talking about being beat. Definitely, Punisher has his shot, but if we're talking about death. Oh well, then that's post-quarter.
And here's the thing: don't let Wolverine be calm-headed and learn from the mistake he made without chasing you. He was like, I'm not going to repeat it twice. And that make him scared because Punisher knew. And here's the problem. Punisher don't even know the range of Wolverine's sense. Wolverine can smell you out miles away.
Yeah.
So for Punisher to disappear and have his son disappear, that means he has to leave the country.
Yeah, but I think the only one thing, though, if Punisher is has only one chance of killing Wolverine, he literally would have to dig deep into the Weapon X archives and find the freaking animatium bullets, because that's the only way you kill Wolverine.
He does have a good point there, David.
And that is the truth because Weapon X archive is like lockdown because they were trying to recreate another version of him, a female version.
Yeah, X-23.
And that female version was not a good version to begin with. X-23 was uncontrollable.
Yeah, but she found control later.
And that's the difference.
I ain't gonna lie. X-23 though, she was more of the. I actually like what they did with her when they did that sneaky little claw in the foot. I'm like, that was actually smart. That was so smart.
And don't forget Wolverine cousin, aka Deadpool.
Who?
Wolverine cousin, aka Deadpool, because we don't take cousin, the same healing factor, they stole his healing factor and trying to implant it onto Deadpool. But Deadpool healing factor was not the same as Wolverine.
Well, it never
In
could
the comic
because
book,
he
he did
naturally
mention-
had an illness, so that healing factor was already damaged in the first place.
And he did mention that his healing factor came from Wolverine, but it's not perfected. It's a little bit, no.
Well, I never know that.
Weird.
I thought he had his own healing factor, but okay.
No, they took Wolverine for the factor and trying to implant.
I
it
don't see
to-
how that works though, because that would take a lot of genetics.
That what baby.
But then again, that probably be the thing. Him stealing that and injecting in his body could be the reason why he got that illness stuff. So, which is why
Could be a
because the
reaction to it.
animatium is actually corrupting his blood. That actually makes perfect sense. That actually
Bingo,
makes perfect sense now.
bingo.
Yeah, because that's why his skin is deteriorating because the animatium that's mixed and fused is probably jacking up his blood cells.
Bingo. He didn't get the pure blood before he had the animatium in them. Version of
But
it.
don't forget also, Deadpool is also engineered in the chemical version of it. Whereas Wolverine, he was implanted, the metal. So that's two different things now we're talking about. Like apple versus
Well, yeah,
orange.
that's just another different version of that type of Deadpool, which honestly was a very, very sad adaptation of that. That was just so sad. That was so sad. That was so sad. They try to literally make him the true definition of a walking weapon, but just without talking, which honestly didn't feel very good. But I understand.
I think our friend Eric is not a fan of Deadpool.
Deadpool
is
is the persona of non-gata.
Off topic for a minute, I actually did like the Deadpool series.
I got no problem with it.
What about you, David?
No problem.
I enjoyed it. Even the Deadpool versus Wolverine, I think it was a pretty good movie actually overall. I
Okay,
like the
but who?
little,
That was a good movie.
yeah, I like the little Easter eggs they threw in there too. Like you had Johnny Storm, you had Blade, you have Gambit, they're
I'm glad
Now
they
the
finally
root-
put him in the damn movie. God damn it. I've been waiting to see my boy.
Gambit.
That guy is, yes, Gambit is nice. I didn't love the fact that they killed the other Gambit that when they showed him in the other Wolverine movie. That was some bullshit. That was a BS.
I didn't like that version of Gambit, to be honest with you, bro.
That actually was a good Gambit. The only thing is he didn't have white hair. I actually liked that Gambit. He was actually good for me. He just didn't have the white hair. That was the only problem I hated about it. But as we all know, it's adaptation, so I can't be mad. But I like that Gambit. But don't get me wrong, though. I did like this other version of the Gambit as well. So,
I like this
especially
version
he had
better.
the full suit.
Yeah, and he fits the character too. He looks just like him. It
Oh
sounds
yeah,
like
no,
him.
I like it. I like the character for sure. Deadpool's a character created for Twinkie Brains by Twinkie Brains.
All right, we gotta admit something here.
What
Eric
the-
likes if he's not from the 50s where he grew up in, he's gonna knock it. That's what I'm just saying.
From the 50s, Lord have mercy.
All right, I'm gonna throw another video up here because this is gonna help our conversation and get back on track.
After saving the world from a Skrull invasion, Norman Osborn becomes the director of the Avengers. However, his shady dealings continue, so Punisher attempts an assassination but fails when Sentry intercepts the bullet and saves Osborn. From then on, the Punisher would keep a low profile since Osborn would want revenge. Norman eventually finds out where Frank lives, and we see him covered in bandages. Norman activates the missiles and bombs the entire pier. He smiles, but one of his men tell him they missed and Frank survived. So Osborn tells Wolverine's son, Dakin, to go kill the Punisher and orders his men to do the same. It's revealed Punisher survived by shrinking with Pym particles. However, Osborn's goons find him, but he neutralizes them. He gets ready to jump into a manhole, but a bullet hits him in his leg. He falls into the sewers and his leg breaks while the sewage goes through the hole in his leg. Suddenly, he is attacked by the knockoff Wolverine Daken. Frank fires at him, but Daken dodges the bullets and impales him through the guts, and Frank bites his lip off, shoots him through his chest, and gives him the Hawk Tuah before firing more shots on him. Punisher climbs out the sewers while Daken chases after him and says he'll kill him. A bomb goes off while Frank climbs out the sewers. However, he stands on the rooftops only to see a bunch of Osborn's goons who are about to kill him. But Daken surprisingly climbs out and tells them to stand down since he'll gut this pig by himself. Daken says he should let the goons kill him since he's a roach and barely worth his time. He charges at him and they fight. Daken stabs his arm and Frank fingers his eyes and then stabs him in the head. So Daken slashes his face and neck. Frank starts bleeding out while Daken mocks him and slices his arm off. He slices his other arm off and he collapses. Daken then cuts his head and torso off before dumping his dismembered body parts in a ditch. After saving the world from a Skrull.
And this is why I asked life or death, because that literally would happen.
But the reason why I play that mostly is so far we have two scenarios. The Punisher is always on top, both scenarios.
I mean, he's a strategist. What do you expect?
No, because I thought originally coming into this conversation with you guys, I thought you guys would be a team Wolverine on 100%.
No, but that's my thing. I mean, again, we're having the discussion. It is what it is. But that's why I'm asking: are we having this as the death, or are we having this as just being beaten? That's why at first, when you just said it, I'm like, oh, that's a clean sweep. But then I asked, okay, because I did some clarification before this, and I'm like, all right, is this more so of a beat or to the death concept? Because if it's to the death, oh yeah, that's clean. But if it's a beat, then that's different notion. That's a different notion.
Let me ask a question: if it was a beat, which way would you go?
No, if it was a beat, then it goes 50-50. It can go either which way, depending on how you want to interpret the fight. And then that would be based upon which Punisher are you using and which Wolverine are you using? Because again, if we use a more sensible, understanding, more knowledgeable Wolverine, then he has a better chance. Mm-hmm. But if you're using a Punisher that's still tactical, with Wolverine being an aggressive knucklehead, then Punisher has the chance. That would be a 50-50 battle. So it's like it all really depends which one you're using and then how you're setting that up. But grantably, without being in the middle, I would originally say who gets off first, it would definitely have to be Punisher. Because at that point, from that standpoint, again, long range distance Punisher has that in plan. And because he is a strategist, again, you have to ask yourself two things. Who's seeing who's coming after who in this whole battle sense of it all, right? And then who's combating who overall within the trade-off. So, for instance, if Wolverine's coming after Punisher, Punisher has time to prep and set up, if knowing that Wolverine's coming for him. Now, if there is no prep and you just drop them in a same area, then I think, honestly, you may give a little bit of a solidarity to Wolverine there. So it all really depends. I will even say, based upon the climate of where you're at, it will give even maybe Punisher an edge in that as well, depending on the climate, because that can also be an advantage. It's really all dependable on circumstances. But again, if we're talking about being,
let me ask you this question. I'm sorry to cut you off. Let me ask you a question. Would you consider different universes to be a factor?
Different universes as far as what? What's an example?
Like, the Punisher we got in Deadpool, he was more sad, depressed because he lost Jean Green. The other one was more like, okay, I'm gonna fuck somebody up.
Right. Yeah. Again, different universes. Yeah, because then you got to think about it. Like, if we use Punisher from a particular comic of when he was in World War I and II, and right, you would have to use that same Wolverine, and then you have to look at it from that point. So those will differ based upon those different type of universes. So depending on how they each look in that particular universe, based on that comic cohesively, will determine that matchup as well. But again, that's pick and choose of where that stands. But nonetheless, like I said, for the overall, I think if you're talking about just being beaten, it can go either way, but I would naturally give it to Punisher on that one just because of certain circumstances based upon how you want to set it up. Because again, we've seen time and time again when they do these battles, being put in an area matters, right? But I guess if you're just dropping two people in one area and battling it out, it can go either way. But I think on a strategic battle playing field, knowing that Punisher has long distance, he has the long distance weaponry, and able to do what he's able to do, it gives him enough time to make up a plan if needed, and plus also to do one thing, and that's sterilize Wolverine for that time. Because again, if you blow someone's you know what off, I'm sorry. Yeah, if you blow them off, like let's keep it honest. Just look how long Wolverine was crawling. It took them a minute. So it's like, in that sense, honestly, yeah, you're pretty much done until you recover. So it's like, okay, the fight's over with. So again, that's what I'm saying. Beaten, I can give that to Punisher. To the death, I give that to Wolverine.
What about you, David?
When you show that clip, that was considered to be the Wolverine knockoff. Thinking, right? He was a little more savage but cerebral with it. And imagine that was a knockoff compared to the original. Wolverine, I make sure. And they way more, they spice him up left and right. But here where the problem comes to play. Yes, Hunter had the advantage of buffing ahead of time. The environment and surrounding will always play a turf for the punch depending on what he has available. But at the same token, he has to be in a place where he has the utmost advantage no matter what. On that clip, he didn't have too much of an advantage to escape. They are blocking all his loopholes.
Well, of course, because you got one side of the group that's on the outside, and you got one side of the group that's actually following you. So yeah, you're pretty much trapped right there. Plus, you're wounded.
I feel like it doesn't matter which universe or which Punisher we get or which Wolverine we get. The Punisher's always going to find a way to blow his balls off and win.
Let me be real. You don't want to blow no man balls off. And you someone like Wolverine, you blow his ball off. Like I said, if I were petty, I'll use the new version to test out your girl. But no Wolverine's that savage. If you learn from the pain, this is the guy who don't forget your sense. He can smell you miles away ahead. Once you pick up your scent and know you're around the area, you are doomed.
And yeah, and that's just one, you know.
And that's something that temporary defeat may not be worth it because what? That's like you really want to you asking for the worst death.
Yeah, but you got to think about it, right? It's in the moment, right? In the moment, it's like again, you take them, put them in one place, have them duke it out. In that moment, who's winning what? Who's winning what? So again, it's like if we're just talking about just being beaten, I'll give it a Punisher. I'll go. Like, you can go either way, but I'll give it a Punisher. But death, oh yeah, for sure, I'm giving it to Wolverine. There's no way around.
Imagine you had the Wolverine versus Hulk. Everybody know that's a draw out battle.
Yeah, but see,
they both have healing factors.
Right. So that is just a battle of just being beat. But we already know what the answer to that.
There are so many different factors you can take this, and that's the great part about these debates. They go either way. You know what I'm saying?
No, but yeah, no, I hear you. But that's what I'm saying. Like the only like real clear shot that Punisher really has to quote unquote, kill Wolverine is literally getting a freaking, that special bullet. Other than that, you don't get shit.
Yeah. All right, let's play the next video, guys.
The time Punisher absolutely humiliated Wolverine. The Punisher once ran over Wolverine with a steamroller, and it gets way worse. Wolverine goes after Frank Castle thinking he got the upper hand. Healing factor, adamantium skeleton, claws, the works. So how does Frank deal with him? First, he shoots Wolverine right in the face with a shotgun. Then, he lures him into a trap and shoots him in the nads with a high-powered rifle. And then, he runs him over with a steamroller like it's a Looney Tunes sketch. Frank literally says that'll keep him down for a minute. Like, what? That's Wolverine. This wasn't just brutal, it was comedy. Frank Castle can't kill Wolverine, so he just keeps hurting him in the most humiliating ways possible. And that's why the Punisher is one of the pettiest men in comics. Subscribe for more comic breakdowns. And now
Do you guys agree with that? He humiliated him more than anything?
No, yeah. I mean, you got to think about it. You can't kill a man, so what more can you do? Humiliate him. What more can you do? Like, what more can you expect? If you can't beat him, you got to do something to get some type of cool points, right?
And you know, let me add it. Let me add it on injury on no. Let me add salt on the wound, right? Or salt on the injury. Let's got someone here. A woman got shot in the balls. You know what that lead to, right? Imagine come back to the mansion. Yo, Logan, I heard you got the ball shot off. How you do that?
You're an asshole. From Cyclops, right?
Yeah. You think Wolverine gonna let that one slide? Knowing that
Eric, you gotta stop that, sir. You gotta stop that. You better bring your
Eric, you're always welcome here, my man. You know that. We might break your balls, but you're always welcome here. If you ever want to come up, and you're welcome to too.
One of these days, I'm gonna learn about
if I know Wolverine,
you belong perfectly. Damn it.
Here's the thing: if I know Wolverine, no one not supposed to know that he got his ball shot off by the Punisher. But if you make fun of him and you say, "How you let Punisher run free and he was able to shot your ball off, and you couldn't do nothing to him?" You know, right there and there, Wolverine walking out of the mansion. Everybody know Punisher's dead. He's not gonna survive. The movie will make sure he do something to this guy because who want to have black and white? Yo, I shot Wolverine in the ball and blow the ball. He couldn't do nothing to me. Not me.
You know, it'd be more funnier. You know, he's at his back at the mansion. You know, Jean Green comes in. He sees the doctor. She's bandaging him up like, well, it kind of sucks your boy got blown off.
No, there's not an amount of booby trap you can set up that will prevent Wolverine from getting his vendetta back. And everybody laughing about like, yo, Punisher. You know how focused Wolverine would get if you want to do you dirty? And here's the bad part about it. This man can smell anything. He can smell traps. So imagine a super focused Wolverine giving out all your booby trap and everything you put out there, you're like, he picks up on it. You know how scared Wolverine can get if you're not operating on raids and he just focused on getting you?
And that's rare. That's the funny part.
And then a few times you see Wolverine, you will tell it, hey, that's a booby. How you? The nose. You can smell everything? Yes. The material of it. You can tell it's something they use. I imagine that. The man's sense of smell is ridiculous. I don't know how you can measure it. You pick up your scent, you could be 10,000 miles and you still find you. Make it make sense. Not even a dog. Okay, I can't say not even a dog because I've been testing people that dog can find their master across the country and they'll still look for them. So
yeah, I was going to say that actually.
So if a dog can find his own master across the country, what make you think Wolverine cannot find you across the world?
Yeah, good point there.
I mean, well, let's be very frank though, because when we say across the world, you still got to use a plane to get over to the other side. A plane, boats, you know. We got to think about that part.
You forget how Wolverine, before he was Weapon X, he would go underwater and he stayed underwater long enough to get where he needed to get to. he was an assassination machine. Let's not forget that part.
Oh no, we all know that. But I'm just saying, like, because granted, like either which way, right? If the scent stop at plane, then you know you got to start flying. The only thing is where you're flying to. You know, if it stops at a ship, then where you're going from here? It's like, okay, the closest land is this way, so okay, fine, let's go this way because it's the obvious.
Here's my thing. I don't want to see women underwater because I feel sorry for all the shark in the whales. What?
Oh, I'm not saying
No,
that.
hold on, ladies and gentlemen. You have a walking disaster. Women in deep water, that's all you won't find him coming in. You can't use no sonar to pinpoint him. You got heightened sense and analytic ability. You think a shark can survive him?
Well, of course not. A simple claw to.
All you want to see when you're in your boat, you see slice of shark meat. Goes to the water. Like, what's going
Get
on?
the mic connected because you're getting off. Get the mic there.
Yeah, something's going on your mic, dude.
I'm just saying, you will see
All
someone.
right, there you go.
You will see a bunch of shark meat sliced up in the water floating. You would like, what's going on? Like this is supposed to be a shark territory, but all the shark are getting diced up left and right. The shark natural predator came in. What do you expect to happen? And if you look at all of the history of Wolverine in the Marvel comic, that guy is no walk in the park. He's just
No way.
He is brutally deadly. So deadly, he worked it up. Now, if you say Wolverine versus John Wick, that'll be an interesting comparison, but still, John Wick would still lose. You know, he called the Baba
I think we need
Yaga.
to stop doing these ultra over the top battles like these.
You know what I'm saying? That John Wick, he may have a chance, but again, John Wick will know also one thing: a man that gets healed from any injury is an unfair advantage.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. Technically, I wouldn't give John Wick a better chance than Punisher. I'm only gonna be one. I want to say this real quick. The reason why I wouldn't give John Wick a better chance than Punisher is simple fact of just understand the character of who John Wick is. Like, John Wick is not thinking. He's just overly aggressively beating the daylight. I mean, the only thing thinking he's doing is like, okay, gotta do some backtracking, gotta get some deals, and everything else. After that, what else is he doing? Facing the competition? I mean, yeah, no, you're dying. At least Punisher has an actual plan.
That's a good point again.
Yeah, I can't argue.
Like, you again, if anyone understands the nature of John Wick, there's no survival tactics here.
And that's why Wale is my co-host, because sometimes you need that little
Nuggets?
No, devil advocate. Wale is my devil advocate because sometimes I'm trying to get a good argument, and Wale be like, no. You forget about this matter right here. Don't overlook this fact right here because this is sticking out like a thorn. Not happening. I want to say Wolverine one character. When it comes to assassination, he the one person I don't want no one to send after me. And someone say Wolverine coming to kill you, I'm like, this man might shoot me right now. I gotta get shot then.
I mean, because look, if we were talking about like John Wick versus Wolverine, who got the more better assassination approach? I'm sorry to say, it's like, then if you look at it from that standpoint, again, it's still gonna be like John Wick is not very technical with assassination. He's just very brutal with assassination, which technically they're on par, right? They're on par. Mm-hmm. They're both brutal with assassinations. But the idea is you have to think about it. For Wolverine, his assassination would have to go back to his Weapon X days of comparison that you have to do, because as a hero, he's not assassinating them.
That's true.
So
and when his Weapon X day, he was so silent to the point whereby you're not gonna hear first. You're not gonna know when he appears. He's like a ghost.
And this is what I'm saying. You have to compare that, because that, I mean, don't get me wrong, that would be a fun little battle, right? Comparing storytelling of the two. Compare the story, because when you think about, again, when you hear about the Baba Yaga, Again, the long history of John Wick bodying people throughout the timeline of his world. You can only imagine how bad he had to do these things. Because to get the name, okay, we gotta get some backstories here. We gotta get a whole lot of backstories.
There you go.
All right, let's welcome our next guy on here. What's going on, man? How are you tonight?
Hey, man.
How are you doing tonight, bud?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you nice and clear.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Give me 1 second, guys. Yeah, I just had to get my order in there.
Dave, so he gets does this thing. What you were saying before? I'm sorry.
No, can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, hold on. Get my light on, guys. All right, there we go. Oh, so what's the conversation?
Wolverine versus Punisher.
Wolverine versus Punisher? Claws or no claws?
That's what we're for right now. Is full powers, full everything.
Everything?
Death. Yes.
Oh.
To add extra continuity, this is think of it two sides from the standpoint of being beat, from the standpoint of death.
All I'm gonna say is, hey man, listen. Wolverine's not fair to anybody. Let's just keep it real. Well, I say anybody. Anybody who's a freaking human, base ass human. This is hella for silly town. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody, but come on, man. This is like Wolverine versus Batman. And all it takes is one good slash, and this motherfucker, pardon my French, this bastard is dead. And it would have been better if you said even bone claws. It kind of it would kind of equalize a little couple of things, but the healing factor it's dumb. Servitude actually might be worse because he's fast.
I know he would do that. I know because I got to go. When you told that question, he was like, it's hard not to not feel kind of like lopsided.
According to the video, a couple of videos we played.
Let me say something. If we did Frank, now it would be even if Frank Castle had the freaking symbiote to be the ultimate equalizer, and here's why. Because there was a comic book, and guys, I actually have Punisher comic books, by the way. So I showed them one time on my channel when we did the chill out session a while back. There was a comic book where he did get the symbiote, like the Venom symbiote. He was able to fly with that goddamn thing. Now, if you had did that versus Wolverine, that's a little bit better. Want to know why? Because it amps up his strength and power to superhuman levels, to where you can actually contest and battle against Wolverine. And not to mention, Wolverine actually got to put in some work, being a symbiote. It just is what it is. This, I'm not putting. Listen, as much as I love Daredevil, he ain't beating that mother. I don't care. Batman credit for his prep and shit. He ain't beating fucking Wolverines. That's crazy. Like this is headed for Silly Town. And the thing is, with Punisher hasn't got any like this. I'm trying to think of somebody he could have gone against. It'd have been better if you said Wolverine versus Iron Fist or something. Because the reason I'll say that is because at least with Iron Fist, he has maneuverability. He's faster. He has something that can hit harder than the freaking adamantium claws. That's actually true. They can actually hurt his ass. And two, he's a better martial artist to get more hits on him than Punisher could. But let me stick to the actual fight. If you're all day, dude, it's not even. It's like I can't even give Punisher one win over him because even if he like prep, like let's get real, like people thinking like Batman just prep time. Even if you use a bunch explosions, you're not gonna kill him quickly.
Jay. But they have a
remember
clip
the
of
contract. I
him
said
that Punisher actually
and
did
I
somewhat
also said
temporarily
to the
defeat
death.
Wolverine.
Hold
I was saying
on,
that.
Wally. Hold on, Wally. I wanted to hear what TBN was saying. Say it again,
Yeah,
right, David?
well, that Butler play a clip on how Punisher actually temporarily defeat Wolverine. But what I was telling him, that part will make him more pissed off.
Yeah.
How he defeated Wolverine.
Yeah, like
Because you're not throwing. I say, imagine he got away and blew up Wolverine balls off. And Woman has it, and Scott Summer, aka Cyclops, hold that over Wolverine head. And you come back to the match, yo, how you let somebody blow your balls off and did nothing to him? Right there, you know, everybody know Wolverine. If you make fun of him that he lose to somebody, he will walk out quietly, and you all know that person is dead meat.
yeah, and remember, we're talking about Wolverine from the books, right? The one that actually kills, not the shows where they just have him that thing on his claws and he's defending.
Really
I'm talking
don't
about
matter. It really don't matter.
No, it does matter because guess what? Because Wolverine.
I mean, it really don't matter because
Wolverine's
Wolverine.
Wolverine kills. Yeah, different interpretations, Wally. It depends, but I'm assuming we're going by comics, like actual what he does.
I mean, yeah, if you want to go by comics, we can go by comics. I mean, you just gonna have to match up that Punisher with that Wolverine. But either which way, the main concept is neither from a standpoint of just being beaten and then the standpoint of death. That's why I was trying to hit you with from just being from the standpoint of beaten. It's Peter already shown that Punisher can beat Wolverine, but it's temporary a win. But as far as death, I think everyone has no choice but to agree that Wolverine will kill Punisher no matter what.
No matter what, that's the conclusion I'm going to. Like if Punisher, God damn man, the problem, the problem for me is when you put base humans against motherfuckers with superpowers and shit. And especially he has people need to how Claire can't die from nothing. Like she just found a nuclear bomb, and that's what Frankenstein could do. And by the way, I will say this: it has the adamantium skeleton that he is able to, because it actually protected his bones from disintegrating, so it actually helped. That's why when he did get blown up, his skeleton was showing, and he regenerated literally from the eyeball muscles, all that stuff. I'm like, Punisher ain't dropping a nuke on him just to kill him. Like he can't do that. I mean, I'm just saying, it's one guy can regenerate his whole body almost. It's not even fair, and not to mention he's pain resistant almost. Like you'll just piss. Pardon my French, you'll just piss him off. Seriously.
And they were trying to point out, because I thought about it for a whole week. I was like, there's no way of really, really seriously defeating Wolverine. And Wolverine not only have an anger issue, he got an ego issue. And when I threw that mix, he does.
Well, yeah.
Imagine, imagine Scott Summer, aka Cyclops, hears that Punisher blew off his balls and he did nothing to him. You don't think Wolverine will be pissed if Scott brought it up and he doesn't hit Scott, but he looked at Scott and walked out?
No. Him and Scott will box it out or some shit, but he's not gonna kill Scott because that's his teammate. And also,
no, he's not gonna kill. He's not gonna kill Scott. He'll be pissed off that Scott find out about it.
I mean, in a perfect world, you like to kill that motherfucker so you can have Jean Grey. Let's just keep it real.
I know. I know.
Same thing with Namor and Sue Storm. Namor killed. Well, he respects though. He's a little bit different. But I mean, Sue Storm, man, he take Miss Fantastic's wife. Same thing. But maybe Wolverine versus Namor would be a lot better. But even then, he'd be disadvantaged because he's punching out of his weight class. Namor's going to.
All right, guys, hang on 1 second. Let's get this guy in here really fast. Guys, let's welcome the president. Mr. President, what's going on?
Everything is good. Everything is good. Just getting back. Was out with the fam. My daughter, she starts her new job Tuesday, so we had a little family celebration before she embarks on her new journey and everything. So yeah, so just getting back in and joining the conversation.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good.
So tonight's a topic, and I texted this is Wolverine versus Punisher. What's your opinion?
No contest.
Thank you.
I mean,
What
let's
What is this?
now. Well, first of all, let's what parameters are we using? Are we talking about Wolverine
Everything.
before Adam? I just want to get the context, Jay. First of
Okay, so
all,
Mr. Bennett,
first of all, Jay, it's been a minute since I've seen you. It's good to see you, brother. How you doing?
Brother, first of all, it is so good to see you again, man. And congratulations on your daughter and getting that job, man.
Appreciate it.
I still been following your post. So you working out, brother. I just got back into working out again. And hey, man, I got a lot of respect for you, man. Keep that body healthy.
Appreciate it, man. Trying, man. So either way, I mean, you're talking about a mutant individual with crazy healing factor, with hundreds of years of fight experience. The guy's been in Civil War, World War I, World War II, and Vietnam. Weapons expert. The guy's a samurai, for crying out loud. So in and of himself, barring his mutant abilities, he's got significant advantages over the Punisher. And I don't think this is not even, you got a guy, I think Danko, his YouTube channel, he always has this line, and it's not even close. This would be one of those examples where it would not even be close. Now, the only human that I would give a possible advantage or certainly to help to even things up against like a Wolverine, maybe Batman, because certainly with his detective skills, he would find something. He'd find some adamantium poisoning agent or something to try to even score. If you give him time to study, I'm just saying he tries to figure something out. He always has a Agamotto contingency plan. So I'm saying he would figure Wolverine out to some degree. But that's the only one that comes off the top of my head that would have that advantage. So I don't get Punisher that advantage. And I know a few months ago we talked about Punisher versus John Wick. I believe that was the show that we did.
Yeah,
same thing. Even John Wick. No, you're not winning that one either. So
I agree with that.
So again, there's very few what I would call human individuals that I would give any advantage or even a hope to defeat Wolverine. Certainly without the adamantium, you give him adamantium, and now it's like really now you got a serious problem on your hands now. So now I don't think it's a close contest. I think Wolverine, especially with his tracking senses and whatnot, he would be able to sense and detect the Punisher coming, his every move, and I just don't think it's not a fair fight. And
right.
Not.
It's not. It's really not.
Thank you. Thank you,
but, Mr. Bob Bennett. So as far as your opening statement, that is very clear across boards here as far as that goes.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as just added context to what we did. So for me, because again, me and David, we already walked in here. You as well. We already walked with the idea that this was a clean sweep. There ain't no way around it. Wolverine's bodying Punisher. But this is why I added the extra context of: are we talking death or are we talking about just being defeated at the point? And that would change the course of the conversation, because there is in comics proven that Punisher has defeated Wolverine because of some simple tactics of blowing his balls, as you know.
Play the video.
That's some death bullshit.
That would be something Deadpool would do. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But Frank do it.
Actually, it was Punisher.
The time Punisher absolutely humiliated Wolverine. The Punisher once ran over Wolverine with a steamroller, and it gets way worse. Wolverine goes after Frank Castle thinking he got the upper hand. Healing factor, adamantium skeleton, claws, the works. So how does Frank deal with him? First, he shoots Wolverine right in the face with a shotgun. Then, he lures him into a trap and shoots him in the nads with a high-powered rifle. And then, he runs him over with a steamroller like it's a Looney Tunes sketch. Frank literally says that'll keep him down for a minute. Like, what? That's Wolverine. This wasn't just brutal, it was comedy. Frank Castle can't kill Wolverine, so he just keeps hurting him in the most humiliating ways possible. And that's why the Punisher is one of the pettiest men in comics. Subscribe for more comic breakdowns. And now you...
Now, I actually want to say something real quick.
Go ahead, man.
Because I actually watch those every now and then when they explain people's abilities and things. But I'm a real comic book reader. That is basically Deadpool killed the Marvel Universe, and the reason why it is because he said he kept running over with them. I don't take those feats seriously normally because it's just like Deadpool was able to kill Wolverine. He just kept he didn't drown. I think it was drowning. Like he lit his ass on fire continuously, and he didn't die from it. So I'm like, okay.
I mean, he didn't die, but there's a reason why I'm saying beat. Because again, anyone can be beaten on a given day. That doesn't mean you actually kill the person, right? They just survive to live the next day. So I'm saying for that time, for that temporary time, he beat him for that temporary time.
Right. And
So
also
that's the only argument he has. But go ahead.
I get you, Wally, but also I take it every person here has heard the term plot-induced stupidity, right? You know what that is, right?
No, say that again. What's stupidity?
It's something in comics that's created. It's basically a term called PIS, plot-induced stupidity. So when something, it means, and you can look it up too. You trust me, it exists.
Mm-hmm.
So it basically happens when something when something based on the powers of the other characters happens, like when like Black Panther puts Silver Surfer in Arborg, that's PIS, plot-induced stupidity. Silver Surfer would shit on Black Panther. That shouldn't be possible. Or like when Batman kicked the fucking Spectre. No, he's not capable of touching him or even doing that. Right. So it's or my favorite one for all Spider-Man fans. By the way, and guess what? Spider-Man, he's when he's in toe-to-toe with Heralds, he's done that, but never beat him. But I want to say this: there's no way in hell he is stopping the Juggernaut when he's running.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I said no. That's why I said that's impossible. That's PIS. He didn't have black suit. He was just regular Spider-Man, and he was able to stop the Juggernaut.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying this term is mostly referring to something that the character wouldn't necessarily ordinarily do, but just because of the plot device of the story, they have to do something incredibly stupid or something where he's just vulnerable to be put in that situation.
Based upon their comic book logic, it would literally be impossible, but they do it just because it's funny. Like, for instance, Batman facing Darkseid. It was funny, but you know good and well Darkseid would have bodied the daylights out of Batman. But it's funny the fact that they let it happen. You know what I'm saying? It's just funny.
Shove his head through a brick. Hey, remember, everybody has seen Superman, Batman, Apocalypse, right? So you remember the scene where he tried to negotiate and said, I got spores over here? Grabs him by his freaking neck. We're cutting him through a freaking concrete. He should have died from that. You shouldn't survive that. You should have died. I don't give a damn if it's Batman or Superman. Superman is surviving because of Superman. We know this. Kryptonians are OP under a yellow sun. We know this. But only because he had that, and he was about to choke him out and kill him. Only because of a certain plot point was he able to do that. Or he didn't go. And people keep saying he outsmarted Darkseid. No, he uses his intelligence what helped him get out of the situation. He didn't beat him. Darkseid was gonna kill him. He was only gonna pop his head up like a weasel.
Yeah, Darkseid could have killed him. The only difference is now the only problem is right with that whole notion of it is A, did he really had that plot in motion, and two, was Batman really gonna pull the trigger? Because of course you gotta also think about plot armor to his idea of not killing. Because if he didn't go back, was he really willing to do it? That's the difference. Because Darkseid don't know that he has that factor in him. That's the thing.
Right. And he said release your spores and you can leave Apocalypse pretty much. But PIS is basically the same thing as Toon Force, where it's like that's a little different. But I'll say this: so, and everybody knows what Toon Force is. So basically, the best example I will use is like, everybody knows Jim Carrey the Mask. Jim Carrey the Mask is literally a Toon Force god because he can't die. No, I'm saying this. Can't die. You can try to shoot at a Toon, and the rules of Toon Force is you can't really kill a Toon. And they're pretty much the one thing you can't kill in this world is that you can kill a comic book character, but you can't kill off a Toon. They can do anything as long as it's funny and weird. Like what? So what? Like Popeye, and everybody knows Popeye. I don't care. Everybody here is like 30 and up. I don't care. You've seen Popeye the cartoon.
Eat your veggies and each your spinaches, and
he lassoed the sun so that the morning would come. So guess what? So you're telling me nobody has enough physical strength to like pull the sun? They make morning come by pulling the sun, and also he had to find a rope which was sun temperature level proof to do that. So you see what I'm saying? Like you're not supposed to like take that seriously. Like come on. Even when Batman kicked a Spectre, we're not supposed to take that seriously. He's not doing that to the god, or at least one of his at least the paragon of Spectre. Because remember, Spectre's only as strong as much as the presence makes him. And I can tell you that for as little energy he gives the Spectre, even that version of Batman, I don't care what he pressed for, shouldn't be having enough strength to even touch the Spectre. That's what that means. He should be a fly. Him.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean whenever we get it. Whenever they do like those one-off comics that we read, Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, or when Joker becomes God in DC or something like that, or a dimensional imp. We're not supposed to take that seriously. We're not supposed to.
Yeah, those are just like very.
It's just meant for laughs. Yeah.
Very tense one. And I ain't gonna lie, yeah, that comic with Joker flipping the script, I swear that was by far just criminal. Like at this point, you may as well just let him just kill everybody. Like,
but this is why I mentioned Wolverine is like a hack. The only one who can balance out Wolverine is the Hulk. But they both have crazy healer factor. But we all know
actually, the Hulk and the Thing can balance that out because Wolverine can cut through Thing's body.
Pierce his rock skin.
Yup.
Can't pierce that.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing.
And don't forget the Hulk. He most bullets just bounce off him. He's like thick skin he has.
And the thing about the Hulk is
also don't forget what's that other guy with the animatium body, like his whole body turns to animatium?
Colossus.
Yeah, so that's another one.
But the thing, Hulk is
it's not. I don't think it's adamantium though.
Well, yeah, I don't think so. But it just looks like it. That's what I'm just.
Because substance, it's organic metals, what they say.
To me, Hulk is the ultimate hack beside Wolverine because his ability doesn't make no sense.
Yeah.
Meaning he cannot die.
Yeah.
Literally.
Well, I think even Magneto would be the ultimate hack, right? I mean,
yeah, he's the ultimate clips to him.
Like, he can he can like weaponize the iron in your blood.
Yeah.
He can weaponize the iron in the blood. He can take the
strip it.
So he has control of he has electromagnetism.
Yeah.
And he's able to literally turn you into turn the electrons and atoms inside your body and like turn you to dust if you wanted to. So, so there's different levels of it. The blood, which was in X-Men 2, if everybody watched X-Men 2, he actually did that. But that's because Mystique put iron in his body, but he's able to get that out of you and kill you literally like that if you wanted to.
Yeah, you said
the other levels when he turns you to dust.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
but even in the comics, I mean, there been so many times where Magneto was simply just played with Wolverine. I mean, it was like it was better. I think he took the adamantium out of him. I think.
Yeah, that was in the comic. Yeah, he literally stripped.
He did it. Oh, wait, Mr. Billy, did you watch X-Men '97? Did you watch that?
Yeah.
Then you go to. So basically, that's what he did. That was an homage to that comic of when he did that.
Yeah.
So when opposites attract, and so this is something I want to tell you. So did you know that the adamantium poisoning was hindering his evolution?
Yeah.
Because
Well,
he's supposed to turn out
at least in the Logan movie, I mean, we kind of found out towards the end. I don't know if they ever explored that in the comics itself, but I know in Logan they were talking about the
Yeah.
They did because Professor X said it himself in the books. He said when they realized the adamantium was on part of him, it was poisoning him. Yeah, and it hindered. So technically, it lowered his healing factor, and also it hindered his evolution, his mutation. Because guess what?
He would have been more like Sabretooth. Yeah.
Because, and everybody said, you want to know why? The reason why people make videos, you want to know why Sabretooth is so fast or physically stronger is because he is at his peak feral evolution.
Yeah.
And Adamantium is not slowing him down. And if he were to get it, he would have been like Wolverine. And the thing is, they both would have been slow. They both would be slow, but they would both be hard to kill.
That's why the leader of Weapon X didn't want to give him the adamantium because he knew of the side effects. He's like, I'm not gonna tell you, but this is what it is right here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with Sabretooth, he manifested. It's in the cartoon, but he manifested on cartoon his own jacket and things like that. Whenever he got the evolution, but what they were saying was, as like his bones were gonna grow on top of him, like on top of his body, and he was gonna be like an actual feral beast, similar, but of like the wolf canine kind. And for Sabretooth, it was more the cat-like type. Is what they're actually supposed to be. But their healing would be at their peak. They'd be really freaking fast, and they'll be really freaking physically strong. Yeah. And the senses are up too, by the way. So, like by that. But my thing about Wolverine, what makes him, but people didn't like that from the comics for a while. So they were like, "Yo, give us back the dude who looked like who looked rugged, but maintain that the animal characteristics, but looking more human by having the claws and stuff, because they like that look better, and that's why they didn't do that with the daughter, because they would ruin their character.
Well, it's interesting because that's what I really liked about the. Now, again, I had problems with the film, but X-Men Origins, I mean, there was so much that was like good in it, and
there was
that dynamic between Sabretooth and
Wolverine. Yeah, I love it a lot.
That like you said, he kept that feral side, and he always beat Wolverine. It wasn't until Wolverine got the adamantium
that he was on top.
Yeah, but he beat him all the time because it was like you won't embrace like that inner beast in you or whatever. And he was just totally unfiltered by any semblance of any kind of morality or anything, and that's always why he constantly beat him all the time. So it's funny you mentioned that, because that a lot of that was played out in the movie. Now, again, I didn't like the whole Deadpool thing. I didn't like a lot of things that were in there.
Nobody did.
But I appreciated the. First of all, I think it's the opening sequence is to me one of the greatest in cinema history, Marvel's cinema history. The through the wars and everything, that was so
the wars,
that was so well done, and
very well done.
And then even with Deadpool, I mean with the guy who's Deadpool, I thought like his opening scene, I thought that was great, but then they went off with that, and like I said, it never it went in a direction that I didn't like, but it's like a love-hate movie. Like I can't, it's definitely one of those movies that I've watched a lot, and I never get tired of it or whatever, even though I have those problems with it. But there was so much that was good. The transformation sequence when they gave him the adamantium, I mean, that was great.
That was peak.
The biggest problem I had was towards the end with when he was fighting the knockoff version of Deadpool.
Yeah, weapon left.
I know.
I mean, like I said, that was tough. Yeah.
I would say this. I know since we're doing this right now, they might do a reboot of Wolverine, but if they were to do a reboot of Wolverine, they need to get the origin study done better, because first and foremost, they haven't said anything about his father. Who is his father and what he looks like, and how come Sabretooth know more about him than he does. I think that needs to be put in that particular storyline, because it seems to me in the comic book.
I'm thinking I'm lying. In a particular comic, Sabretooth is older than Wolverine, so that's why he would know more.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, they have the same healing, and not everybody has the same healing in Marvel or
because in one particular, I think in one or few comics, Wolverine and Sabretooth are half brothers, but in other comics, they're not brothers at all.
At all, yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
know each other through other
but
means.
see, like I said, but that I didn't mind. Like I said,
I actually like the idea that they're
we've
brothers,
always said, I don't mind when if you want to go in a different direction, have a different storyline, and I think that intensified the relationship between them.
Oh
in
yeah,
the film.
definitely.
Oh, it makes it more personal and
exactly.
Just have it make sense, right, Mr. Bennett? Just have it make sense.
Because it definitely makes sense. Because of course their nature is similar. They're even though they're slightly different in like how their powers are structured, but they're similar. They're having commonality within each other, their growth pattern, everything else of that nature. Which is why when you actually think about even down the road comic book stories in the Wolverine, because they're actually like a Wolverine, like the Logan family tree type of storyline when they bring like more of the Weapon X type guys into the play. So when they bring in X-23, they bring in them the other guy with the blades and everything else. So yeah, the relationship is great. I just think like, just based upon how you measure the stories and how you connect the dots with them is really just the tailoring part. But I think they never really failed on those things when it comes to Wolverine and Sabretooth, other than the actors and the look of them.
Yeah.
And that's why I say they need to do a better origin study, because I believe if they had done a proper origin story about Wolverine, I think it will pull out even better what people expected, because first and foremost, the guy who created both of them is alive. So what is he doing? How come?
Yeah, but you always got to think about it. That goes, from depending on what comic they choose, and then we also know these are going to always be adaptations. It's just
everything.
Right.
Yeah, what Wally said is true.
My only thing is, I love what they did with X-Men Origins. I love
I did too.
That was probably peak Wolverine, peak Sabretooth on top tier. Right? I think that's peak. The crappy part about it was just like everyone else is agreeing to is the damn fucking ending. Because literally, X-Men Origins probably would have been so good if the ending wasn't what it was. They just strip the ending, change it to something else, change someone else being the big bad, maybe make Magneto go out there and try to take the young mutants and split the hairs and all that. I guarantee you that would have saved X-Men a whole bunch. But no, they just want to constantly do that big fat throw up at the end and just F it up for everybody.
Yeah. One of the things I want to point out too, I like the fact that him as a kid was sick before his mutant powers came in, because once he awakened his claws and everything, his healing factor kicked in. He was no longer sick anymore. He no longer had that sickness. He was immune to everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because you're starting in a position where he's a younger brother in that movie, and Victor's like damn near 13, if anything, right now when you see him.
Yeah, but Victor, but he was more feral to be from jump, right? He had fangs. He already had the claws. He had fangs already, so he was already more advanced, maybe from birth, in terms of his feral form than Logan was until, like you said, until he finally broke out.
Based on how they showed it in the movies, he didn't have it like that.
He had fangs. He definitely had. The fangs.
But the way how they showed it,
I know that.
Yeah, he had the claws, but they just didn't show it like you didn't really see it unless he just had a.
I mean, they weren't like Dracula's fangs. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, but you could tell he looked more feral.
Yeah,
a little more feral as a 13-year-old boy. Yeah,
because he definitely.
Yeah, like I said, it's just like your powers really peak really as X-Men. They peak when you're like mostly a teenager to like an adult normally.
Yeah, I mean,
because,
he might have been at puberty by that point, and Logan might not have hit puberty yet, so that could be
because he was much younger. Yeah, he was definitely younger than that.
Yeah, he probably if I had to guess on the ages, like literally at the beginning of the movie, I would say Sabretooth's like 14 or 13, and then Logan's literally like 8 or 9 years old or something like that.
He's around.
He was like an 8-year-old, 9-year-old sick boy.
Yeah.
So. And because that's what I said. Because remember, he always calls them a little brother, like little brother Jimmy and things like that. So he's definitely younger.
Yeah, and there was clearly size advantage. I mean, he was so much taller than him. Also, I mean, yeah.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Like there was a. And when you're adults, they look like very like little similar in height a little bit, but when you compare them, I think Sabretooth's a little bit taller. Actually, like 2 inches or something like that. Like he's not that much taller, but when they're older, like in the war, they look about comparable. They look comparable.
Yeah, but that movie, like I said,
So-
it's on the top my love-hate list.
Yeah, I have a love hate
it and I
relationship with
hate
it
it at
too.
the same time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's more. There's more love than hate, which is why I keep watching.
Right.
it,
Yeah.
you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, like,
It's
dude,
just
I
too much
reacted
to
to
throw
people
away. I
watching that
can't throw. I
movie.
can't throw it out because it's like,
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, like for example, I wanted the Wolverine to be my favorite movie because that's one of the stories in Japan that that he fights a Silver Samurai. And by the way, because everybody knows me, you know, I love Japan culture, things of that nature. There's a reason why I love that storyline with Wolverine a lot because of the person he meets, who he becomes, and later on when he joins the X-Men. It, like I said, it ties into his past from Japan. I love the hell out of it. There's like one scene in the Wolverine I love a lot, and it's when he's on the train, the bullet train, and he's having to dodge those rail beams and support beams while the Yakuza are trying to kill this cat. The favorite one is when they literally made this man fly and stab that guy in full speed. I was like, that's one of my favorite Wolverine move. I was like, do more of that in the movie. You'll give me hype every time for a Wolverine film, bro. He literally flew in just screaming with his claws and just stabbed that guy. I'm like, we made Wolverine fly for the first time, but also the Hiroshima bomb. That's probably
that was
I'm not
good.
saying,
That was
that was really showing how much his regeneration. That's why I said this is the reason why Punisher loses, bro. He tasted that literally got 3rd-degree burns for maybe 20 seconds, and then just came back with a beard and hair all together. Oh,
This
hell,
is
and
what,
I'm like,
this is what I'm trying to say. The Wolverine franchise, it haven't been taken as far as it should be. But there's a huge level of mystique behind the character.
Yeah, but you gotta also think about it too. Wolverine is such a cult classic character. It's literally there is no fail with Wolverine. He's pretty much on
Absolutely,
that.
I agree with that, Wally. I agree 100%. But guys, let's start wrapping it up really fast. So, David, Wally, Jay, and Mr. President.
Final thought. Hands down, that battle go to Wolverine. Somebody going temporary defeat. Yeah, Punisher could get that one defeat, but I'll be honest with you, if I was him, take a damn spaceship and leave the planet. There's no way in the planet you can hide from Wolverine. Because if anybody know, especially because someone know that you blew off his balls for bragging right, no, Scott will not let it pass until Wolverine take care of you. So that is my final thoughts. I don't know, that did a great conversation. You got to go through a deep level of character building. You have more of these conversations more often. That is my final thought.
Say my final thoughts. Well, first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys were entertained with the conversation in any bits or ways. If you yourself have an interesting battle that you would want to present, please leave that in the comment section after the video is over, or leave it in the comment section of this live that's still going on right now. But one thing I'll leave off to, as far as who I think would win, just straight up death. Of course, Wolverine. As far as being beat, it can go either which way, how you ever feel about it, based upon your ideals of where the fight's going. But I would give it to Punisher just because of what has just been proven. But nonetheless, for me, it's just Wolverine. But as far as just these two characters overall, look, two characters great amongst Marvel, solid, deadly characters, one way or another, however you want to put it. Two, prestigious characters. Definitely Punisher needs to get more love out there when it comes to just being his character, because again, his character is cracked as far as I would say his strategic attempts for just doing people dirty. Because he is aggressive in a lot of ways. You got to love the guy no matter what. He's going to give you the bloods and guts that you rightfully deserve to see in action movies or in action in anything, whatever it is, right? So got to get more love for the Punisher in movies that are at least decent to above, great standard points. But other than that, solid dude altogether. Wolverine, and like I said, he's a cult classic. You can't knock him no matter how you feel about the movies overall. I think you're gonna find love in every adaptation of any movies of Wolverine because he's just that damn good. He's literally on there as far as the Superman, the Batman level of type of tier of comics. He can be on his own. He can be in a team. It don't matter. He's just the face of the whole damn thing, one way or another. But with that said, guys, I hope you guys enjoy it, and that's all it for me.
Hey, everybody, thanks for having me. This is your boy Jay Takashi. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of Marvel. I love these characters and all that jazz. Also, before we end things, if the guys are available for this Monday, we will be doing a Sailor Moon discussion, and with my guys here, and we want to convince Mr. Canadian born here that it's a dark series as well. That's worth watching, giving it a try. But with that being said, listen, I'm a Frank Castle fan, always have been. Punisher's always been one of my favorite anti-heroes of all time. Wolverine's been one of my favorites. Hugh Jackman has made me love this character over decades, bringing him in real life, especially with that Deadpool and Wolverine, which is one of my favorite movies, by the way, guys. That's so freaking awesome.
It's a 10.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but with that being said, man, subscribe to everybody here. Shout out to my man, Mr. Bennett, for showing up, for being a fan of Marvel and books. I didn't know he was a big fan of that. That makes me happy. Older black men loving this stuff, before me and after, hopefully. That being said, y'all have a great night, and we'll talk later.
Hey, sorry to join the conversation late. Really picked up again, seeing Jay again. Certainly a great pleasure seeing you, and glad everything's going well with you. Yeah, I mean, certainly, I'm not saying that this wouldn't be competitive. Certainly, the Punisher, he certainly is going to have certain skill sets and whatnot. The only thing that bothered me with the clip that they showed is like in every clip, Wolverine's face is still blown off. Like there's no skin there. So I'm thinking his healing factor, which is one of the best in Marvel, that he would recover, I think, a lot faster than what was actually shown in the clip. So I don't know if he said if he took his testicles out, that those grow any slower than any part of his body. I don't believe that. And again, we saw that.
I'll get clarity after.
Jay referred to the Wolverine movie where the guy survived 3rd-degree burns and healed himself in a matter of seconds. So I think that that healing factor, the speed of the healing factor, but certainly wouldn't allow Frank to get off as many hits as he did with the shot to the face, with the shot to the gonads, and then to run him over. I don't think he'd be able to pull all that off in a relatively short period of time to pull it off. So again, I think it's just a plot device used to move the story along. But generally speaking, I would give Wolverine the edge at least 9 out of 10 times in that particular contest. And certainly if Frank was going to have any advantage, he would have to really get a leg up on Wolverine in order to do that, to catch him by surprise and then try to end it as fast as he can. But as far as trying to keep him down for a period of time, again, you can do that for a minute, but Wolverine, he's almost like he gets stronger as things go on. And I would just have to give it to him. But certainly iconic characters, certainly overall, and you can actually make a debate. We've been watching these Marvel movies for well over 25 years now, at least in the known universe that we've seen it. And you can make an argument that Wolverine overall is probably the most popular, maybe even more popular than the Spider-Man franchise or the Avengers franchise and whatnot. That he's probably still the most titled, iconic character that we've seen, the most engaging. And I think certainly Hugh Jackman has certainly personified that. The only guy I would maybe give a close second, maybe Tony Stark, or Iron Man. That actor, Robert Downey Jr. Certainly gave it a gravitas that you just drew you in. But Wolverine has always been a hit, and so yeah. But good discussion overall, and yeah, that's all I got.
All right, guys, thank you for coming up tonight. It was interesting conversation. Let's do a quick schedule update and let's get the heck out of here. For Tuesday, tomorrow we are having a gray area. Me and Paul need to figure out what topic we're talking about still. We have a couple on the back burner. And on Tuesday, we'll be talking about building the to last love. Yeah, David, we're talking about that. Yes, you're gonna be there. Don't worry. David, what? You guys taking off this Wednesday, right? You need a day off, right? All right.
Yeah, we had to do a bunch of check on the video.
We'll talk in the back.
I'm sorry.
So we'll talk in the back.
All right, and Coach and Paul, you guys are having financial tips by age.
Yes.
And on Friday we're gonna have a special edition. Me and David are gonna be talking about the whole incident that happened with Psycho Stu on wrestling. So we're gonna go. Whoever wants to join us, please, you guys are welcome to let me know. I'll send you the link. And next week, I hate myself right now. I put this topic up there. Forever Framed, cartoons we left behind. Yeah, we're talking about that. And that's it for now. And a final word, guys, before we go. As always, this was the Spartan HQ Network. I am your host, the Spartan. And this was Spartan HQ Network. I'll see you guys next time. As always, stay fresh, stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.